Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from the Black Wealth Boot Camp. And you know what? Every now and then I get a chance to meet a brother that's just really doing some amazing things, just some stuff that I think that everybody should know about. And I want to introduce you to Mr. Robert Harris, who's on the West Coast, and he's got some really good stuff going on. He is a man with ambition. He's actually started an organization called Men with Ambition, which I think fits who he is. But without further ado, I want to welcome my brother here. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Now, you have been a student in the Black Business School for a while. You took the class with me and Damon Dash, and you've taken some other classes, and you're really digging in, and which really impressed me because you're 26 years old,
Yeah.
and and so I guess let's start from the beginning. Just among the many things you and I talked about, first and foremost, you've been active lately in a case involving Mario Woods. Can you
Yes.
tell me about that?
Samara Woods is a young guy from the same neighborhood I'm from, and he was recently murdered by the police officers in San Francisco. And the way they did it, they say he stabbed somebody, but it was just they shot him down like an animal. And I didn't, I don't condone things like that in a neighborhood. That we're not a piece. We're not animals. The thing that they did it, they lined up 9 officers. One of them fell for their life, and then they shot him down 20 times. And the whole community has been rallying against this, and we've been speaking at town hall meetings, city hall, just to get the commissioner fired because he's not doing his job. This is the second time this happened under his watch, and we don't feel safe in our neighborhood.
Mm.
And it's the last black neighborhood. We're the last 3% of San Francisco.
Really? So what's been happening in San Francisco to the black community? I mean, why are the numbers changing the way they are? What's going on with the demographics?
Gentrification, man, that's the biggest thing. And we were all these homes over here through the projects were neighborhood homes, and they're not changing neighborhood homes. We have the best view in San Francisco at this point. So with the Warriors coming here and just a lot of greedy politicians that's trying to take over our city, they're not doing anything for us. The police is in your neighborhoods that you know they have people police in neighborhoods that shouldn't be here. We don't even see people that look like us, and you see people my age that are cops are fearing for their life because they were sheltered and not to be in this type of neighborhood.
So what's the mood like in terms of people that are when you go to the town hall meetings and stuff like that? What kinds of things are people saying? How they reacting?
I mean, we're hurt, but it's just different levels of different African Americans. You see that they only see red at one point, but you also see the people. My best example I could paint is the um, the poverty line is $15,000. After that, you go up to 30,000 to 150,000. You kind of get a better understanding. But the ones that's superior over here are making 150,000, and they're not doing nothing for the community. They're just telling us, "Oh, we're going to handle this from the inside." We're tired of hearing that. We're tired of having revolutions. We need more resolutions instead of these revolutions. I got to speak, and Elaine Brown was there from the Black Panthers, and dropping knowledge from Fred Hampton being killed 46 years ago to Mario Woods being killed the same way. Nothing has changed, and it's time for a change. And
Well, I agree with you. I mean, right here in Chicago, we got the thing going on with Laquan McDonald, and
same thing.
yeah, and they got rid of the commissioner, but everybody's pushing to get the mayor out because it
Hmm.
was a conspiracy, from the to bottom to the top, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that. I didn't know much about what was going on with Mario. It just seems as these shootings are happening in so many places. It's hard to keep up sometimes.
And it shouldn't be normal like that. And the same thing happened with that young man. The same things happen out here with the commissioner, the mayor, and you and people like us need to come together and just build something that we can just put our people on with black wealth and health as well.
Well, absolutely. Well, I'll say that in your area, you have some really powerful activists. They just
Hmm.
come out of that area. Just going back to what the Panthers did. In the general area back in the day. But then also you have Michelle Alexander and Ben Jealous who ran the NAACP. People like that. So you got a lot going on. So I wish you good luck with that. Keep me posted on that, by the
I
way.
will definitely.
The second thing I want to ask you about is men with ambition.
Yeah.
So you work with youth. You work with youth. I think you said from 17 to 24, which
Yes.
surprised me because you're 26. So tell me about the work you do and tell me about the organization you started.
So, man, when the Bishop started with a couple of friends of ours, and I was the first in my family to graduate college from a four-year university, and I wanted to get that story out there because I lived in the ghetto and I was able to make it out just with family support. But I was blessed to have good friends that went to school in Virginia, San Diego. and we all just came together. And so we talked to SF State and local high schools, telling our stories. And some of them ventured off to do their own things. Some people to get their masters and start other businesses. But I felt that man with a vision should be important because it's we need it in our communities. And just seeing me being 26 is considered OG, and that's not normal in certain situations. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather just get back into work and put the kids on that like you shouldn't sell drugs. My father personally sold drugs and has two strikes. So I'm going a different route. I'm going in the route to where, hey, I'm going to college. I'm gonna go back to my neighborhood and I'm gonna help the people and not glorify something that was not even our fault. That was just passed down through the CIA or politics. I'd rather just go a different route and show you that you can make it if you just use this and
Hmm.
reach out to people like you. I emailed you every day, just seeing like maybe he's gonna reply to this email, and I just woke up and you replied. Consistency and just being tenacious to keep going. That's what I'm about.
Well, I respect it. I love that. By the way, I'm sorry about the emails that I didn't respond to. Sometimes it piles up a little bit, but well, I'll tell you, I agree with you. I think that consistency is so important,
Hmm.
and it's funny that you're OG because I'm like, man, I must be. Would I be like a triple OG, like not even a grand OG, like I'd be a great grand OG or something like that. I don't know. I don't even want to count no more. But it's when you talk about having a father that that's dealing with the incarceration thing and stuff like
Hmm.
that. I mean, my biological father, he also went to prison for drugs. A lot of people don't know that. I was raised by a stepfather though, who stepped in. He
Wow.
was a real man, strong man. I
Yeah.
respect him. Let me dive into the last thing. First of all, I want to also say before I forget, you're having twin
Yeah.
daughters. Congratulations! You just found out. You sent me a picture. You and your pregnant the pregnant mother of your children.
Hmm.
Maybe one day your wife. But I'm not putting that on you. But
Oh,
it
it'll
was
happen.
it was a beautiful
Yeah.
picture, and congratulations, brother.
Thank you. I've been on her since I was 13, so it's been a long
Wow.
time. Yeah.
So that's a long term relationship for the age of 26.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Love of your life. I love it. I love it, Ben. I love it. So here's what I was thinking about too. When you told me, and this is what excited me. I just want everybody to know who's watching that when I met this brother, he was excited to meet me, but I was more excited to talk to him. And let me tell you why I was more excited. And I wasn't just pretending. I was incredibly excited to talk to you because when you sent me that message and you told me you were taking the class that Dame Dash and I were teaching and some other stuff in the Black Business School, we're talking. I said, whoa. I mean, this brother is really internalizing the principles, and we have students who do that, but they don't always get a chance to verbalize it to me, to tell me, and I said, okay, this is amazing for him. But then when you told me you were going to be a father, it made me think this is going to be amazing for his girls because you're not going to raise you're not going to raise ordinary children. You know what
No.
I mean? Your children are already built in a with an extraordinary foundation,
Hmm.
and so with that being said, uh, how do you feel kind of going into this fatherhood role? Are these your first children?
First children, yeah.
Okay, your first kids. You're 26. You're on the move. How does that feel to be a dad, and what are you kind of looking forward to in that process?
I'm excited. I actually called that I was having twins. We went to the doctor. The doctor said we only see one heartbeat. I'm like, man, I think you got to check again. And twins popped up. I knew I was having daughters, and I'm 2 for 2 right now. So I'll be 3 for 3 being excited being a father because I'm nervous, but just taking the right steps and seeking the right knowledge is preparing me instead of just not having the clues. So just constantly having that hunger for knowledge is what's making me keep going.
Well, if you even if you did feel any nerves at all, that's natural. I mean, we all
Yeah.
do. And I would just say though that I mean, you're really moving forward with the kind of energy and ambition that I think is
Hmm.
going to lead to tremendous success. It's never an easy path. It's never a simple path, but it's a path where to me it almost makes me think about, like, have you ever played football or anything like that?
Yeah, I did.
It's like if you play football, right? And let's say you're about to make a tackle, and you got to tackle a guy that's like twice as big as you, and you don't want to make the tackle, but you have to. You know it's gonna hurt. Well, I mean, in that moment, you don't know exactly what's gonna happen. You don't know. You know that there could be some pain that comes with that. But the one thing you don't want to do is stand still or get scared. You know what I
No, you
mean?
can't.
The best chance you have is to get as fired up as you can and to hit as hard as you can. and then you let the chips fall where they may, and you know that in life in general, if you just hit the wall as hard as you can on every play, good things are eventually going to happen.
Right.
And that's what kind of kept me focused. When I was, as I was telling you before we started talking, when I was 26, there were so many uncertainties, so many things I didn't understand about the future, so many things I didn't figure out how they were ever going to work out. In fact, when I was 26, I didn't even know if I was ever going to get out of school. And I'm not kidding. I literally remember feeling that way. And so I think about that and I laugh and I say, man, I wish I could go back in time to when I was 26 and have a conversation and just tell myself like it's going to be okay. These are all the great things that are going to happen, because at that time I had no clue. All the stuff I do now, I had no clue. I'd be living this life, doing the things that I do. But I knew that if you just work hard every day and do your best, you're at least maximizing your chance for success. And that's what I think I like about your approach, man. And so, let me ask you this on the entrepreneurial side. Okay, so you got men with ambition. Is that going to be primarily like your main business, or are you going to have like a different business in addition to that, or what's your plan?
Um, you know, just in general, I have a different interest. I was a personal trainer for 3 years. I ran a business with that. And I work with in a youth. Just I want to teach them different things, but it will be my main business. That's what I really want to focus on. Is just getting off the plantation and just doing what I want to do, and just showcase my talents, either through speaking engagements or just selling merchandise. Just building something sustainable and having a real business that I can call mine.
Well, I tell you, I love it. I love it. So right now, I'm literally I'm gonna write down a few adjectives that seem to describe the person that you are. All right, let me see. All right, so what I see is activist, scholar, businessman, leader, father, and a generally good person. And I think those that really kind of lays the foundation for an extraordinary life.
Hmm.
Like I really think that if you take all those different areas, you keep up with the activism, which means you're giving back as you climb, you're reaching back, you're supporting other brothers, like the brother that was killed, Mario, and you're not just sort of hoarding your success for yourself.
Right.
As a scholar, you're always learning, which means you're always growing, and you're becoming a critical thinker, which is important for black men, because we're not encouraged to be critical thinkers.
Hmm.
You're a businessman, which means you'll control the economics in your household. You truly will get a chance to be the man of your house. It's like Damon. One bond that Damon and I had after Damon Dash and I had after the Breakfast Club thing was that we both felt that if you really want to be the man of your house, you got to find a way to make your own money, and also you may end up having to even educate your own children. At the very least, when they come home from school, you take over that process. You don't send your kids to school and then get mad because somebody else didn't educate them. You don't send your kids out into the economic system, then get mad because somebody else won't give them a job.
Hmm.
Those are things that you can do as a man, as a father, as the head of your household. And then leader. To me, leader is important for you in a multitude of contexts. I mean, you're a leader as an activist. You're an intellectual leader because you're a scholar. I mean, you're taking all these classes, you're absorbing all this information. You're a leader in your household. The women in your household are going to look to you to for guidance and support. You're going to be a leader in your business, right, and in your organization. I mean, so developing strong leadership skills is critical. And then obviously, I mean, the most important role is father. I mean, that's
Yeah.
to me that's powerful, because the way a father raises his or her children, or his children, not her, huh? The way a father raises his children, it really it impacts so many people beyond that child. It affects how that child interacts with the world. If my father had raised me differently, I would be speaking to you differently. Or who
Yeah.
knows, if he had raised me a certain way, I might not even want to talk to you. I might be doing something else.
Yeah.
So we can't underestimate the importance of fatherhood, and I just respect you, man. I mean,
Appreciate it.
I'm looking at this, yeah, brother. I see great things for you, and I just want to wish you well with everything.
Thank
So
you.
before we head on out of here, did you have any last words? I know I did a lot of the talking, and so I just want everybody to know that's because I'm a big fan of Mr. Harrison, and so I'm going to shut up for a minute and let him get the last word. So what you got to say, brother?
I mean, I just thank you for taking the time. A lot of people don't do this. Just to reach out and talk to people that are trying. You know, I think the main thing that's real important as your leader, that you took the time out to get back to me as far like I'm trying to do. And so looking up to people like you is really important because it just it's a lot of negativity on TV that they won't broadcast what you're doing right now, but they will show something about Donald Trump. You know, you get what I'm saying?
or Young Thug, right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Let's not even get on that right now.
yeah. Well, you know what? Hey, we ain't here to knock what anybody else is doing,
Yeah,
I think but I like the idea of black men taking charge. You know, if we don't
definitely.
take charge of our destiny, then somebody else will. And I appreciate your kind words as well. But you know, me, I'm just doing my job. You know, and I'm really optimistic. You know, when I see examples like yourself, I'm so optimistic about the future. I think so many great things are going to happen in the community. I think black people are becoming awakened and aware of many things. We're understanding money, politics at a higher level, education, all these things. So as much as there is negative out there, and there's a lot of negative, I just see so much positive, and I just really believe that the positive is going to win. You know,
Definitely.
because the truth sets you free. You know, to
Hmm.
me, I don't have to win a debate against a person promoting ignorance, because if you just show the value that comes from positive energy and education and intelligence, then people will see it for themselves. I don't even have to talk them into it. You know, so it's an easy job as far as I'm concerned, and an honor. It's a great honor to teach you, man. So thank you so much, brother. I appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. Yes. All right, everybody. This is Mr. Robert Harrison, and I want you to go check out the shooting of Mario Woods. I didn't know a whole lot about it. I'm embarrassed about that. I'm actually going to dig into it myself a little more, because we're thinking about Laquan McDonald here in Chicago, which we know about that. And also, Mr. Harrison is the head of the group Men with Ambition. So support the organization if you can. And me, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from the Black Business School. And until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.